just keep quiet, watch God, and then you give your testimony after. Hi everyone, you're welcome back again to my channel. It's been the longest time, I know, and we're about to enter 2025. So I said, okay, let me just hop in here after so long and drop in a few things we're leaving behind in 2024. Yes, 2024 is ending in barely 2-3 weeks, and we're going into 2025. I'm sure there's a lot of excitement, anxiety, uncertainty, and certainty about 2025, but I know and I'm glad that we are all going to go into 2025 with a brand new feel, a brand new face, and more expectations than we have. I'm going to come into the topic of expectations later, but then just stick and stay and let's get through to the end of the video. So in today's video, I'm just going to highlight a few things. I don't have a number, maybe it'll be 7 or 8 or 6 or 5, but these are the things you and I, yes, I'm adding myself to the equation because I'm guilty of some of them. You and I are going to be living in 2024, for it is not entering, it's not crossing the border of 2024 into 2025. Number one, don't go into anyone's DMs or anyone's chat, maybe on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You don't go in there and be doing hi, hello, especially if it's somebody you're meeting for the first time or if an acquaintance you're just trying to build on. You don't go into their DMs and say, hi, how are you? Honestly, we're living in a very fast-paced life. People are very, very busy, having so many things to deal with on a daily basis and do not have time for such petty conversations, I would say. So if you're going to speak to someone for the first time or trying to catch someone's attention, I think it's better to just go in and say, hi, my name is Yabbies on. I saw your video on YouTube and I just want to know if you have time for me to ask you questions about braiding my hair or questions about if I can make it to Hungary, which of course I will not have so much answers to that because I'm not the Hungarian embassy. But I just want to say that you should have your questions in the first conversation, the first intro you make, in the first hi, it should follow a conversation. It's not a hi today, then in the afternoon or the next day, how are you? People are busy. So then if you do hi, then I also come and do hi. Then you do how are you? Then I come, I'm good, and you. No. It will take a longer time for you to get responses, not just for me. It could be from even maybe a business you're trying to catch the attention or whatsoever. So please, in your first initial conversation starter, please build in your whole point so that when I read the message or whoever is reading your message can see, oh, this is what the person wants, this is where they're coming from, and this is what I need to do. But we cannot be doing hi, hello, hi, hello, hi. We ain't got time for that in 2025. So that's the number one on my list. The next thing I want to talk about is blaming people or trying to call people out when you happen to be the first person to reach out to them. You know, I would always keep going back to the part where we're in a fast-paced life and people have so many things on their plates. People have issues. You don't see it written on their forehead. They are smiling with you, but they are soaking their pillows wet. So when you are able to reach out to someone, so let's say having spoken to a friend in months, an acquaintance, a friend, maybe an old schoolmate, an old workmate, and you guys have not spoken in a while, and then this person gets hold of you and he's like, hi, hey, you have dogged me. You don't look for me. I'm like, Don't do the blame game. Don't do the blame game. If you are reaching out to somebody after a long time, just go, hey, it's been a long time since we spoke. I hope all is well. But the moment you go and say, oh, you don't look for me, you don't search for me, do you know what the person has been going through? And usually in such situations, I feel like the people who ask these questions, they just have the opportunity to do so because they are the first to reach out. If you had reached out to them first, it would have changed the whole conversation. So you reaching out to someone first after a long time should not give you the leverage to blame them for something. People are going through stuff. People are losing jobs. People are stressed with work. People are stressed with their families, stressed with just life in general. And you don't know exactly what they are going through. So the least you can do is to add to their stress. When you reach out to them, just be beautiful. Just be demure, you know, because sometimes I see messages from some people and it gives me a little bit of panic because I just know how the conversation is going to go. And I really do not want to deal with that on top of everything that I'm dealing with. So if you are reaching out to someone, a friend or somebody after a long time, just be courteous in your response because words can make or break anybody at this point in this time of our lives. So just be nice and say, hi, Hi, Matthew. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. Let's catch up. Or what's going on with you? But I don't say, hey, Matthew. So you don't look for me. Hey, you have forgotten about me. Hey, since you moved abroad, you have forgotten about me. Hey, since you started working, you have forgotten about me. Or hey, since you started doing this, since you made money, you have forgotten about me. No, there's more courteous ways to do that. So going into 2025, we're going to be more courteous when we're reaching out to people. The third thing, which I touched on briefly in the beginning of the intro, or the beginning of this video, which may almost be contradictory, but I would say have no expectations of anybody in 2025. It doesn't matter whether they are the president, the prime minister, the queen, the king, your bestie, your children. Literally, I emphasize, have no expectations of anyone. That's something I tell myself, because you know what they say about actions and equal reactions. It's the same with expectations and disappointment. Having expectations of someone equals what? Disappointment. The proportion is the same. The ratio is the same. The equilibrium. If that even works in this case. But I'm just trying to say that having expectations often can lead to disappointment. And then the level of expectation you have is definitely going to reflect in the level of disappointment you get. So having small expectations of something or someone in this case is going to lead to what? Small disappointment. Having big expectations of people is going to lead to what? Big disappointment. So in this case, I'll tell you, going into 2025, have expectations of nobody. Nobody. And also that goes the other way around. Don't go around making promises to people you cannot keep. One thing to know, don't make promises when you're happy. Don't make promises to people when you are very happy. And don't make promises to people when you're in a bad mood. Because that can actually alter your thoughts and your thought process, and you can be happy. Maybe you may even have something in your system, maybe a bit tipsy, and you're just making promises that on a normal and in sober situations you will not make. So please, the way you would also promise somebody and everything would also lead to them having expectations of you, and then when that doesn't happen, they are disappointed. So have no expectations of anyone, so you are not disappointed. If they prove you wrong, you're like, oh, this person proved me wrong. You go about business the normal way. You go about business, okay, oh, he proved me wrong, she proved me wrong, okay. But then when you have no expectations of anybody and then they under deliver, or they don't deliver, so you're like, okay, life still goes on. So that's just one thing I like to say. We're going into 2025 without having so much expectations, genuinely, so that you don't get disappointed with the people and then you form some ideas and ideologies and thoughts about them in your mind when they probably even didn't know that they have disappointed you, because maybe they made those promises in the spur of the moment. So that's why I'm saying that it's a reciprocal thing. Let's be careful about the kind of promises we make, and let's not be the reason why people are disappointed. You feel me? The next thing we're going to not do in 2025 is we're not going to enter 2025 without learning a new skill. Okay, 2024 is almost over. Maybe you didn't learn anything new, nothing new really happened in your life, but we're not going to do that in 2025. We live in a world where so much is available to us on the internet. There's a wealth of information you can get on YouTube, on all the social media platforms, and guess what? Most of these are free. You may have to pay eventually when you need the actual certification and everything, but there are some courses which are happening on paid platforms. But I know people who actually learn these courses, and everything you can get on it for free on YouTube, and then you just pay for the examination, which will get them the qualifications. So please let us use our phones wisely. Let us use our phones to the extent. Phones are for more than just taking pictures and making calls and sharing memes on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. But you're able to learn so many skills on your phone. It's not an advertisement for Duolingo, but I'm on a Duolingo streak right now. I think I'm on a more than 1 year streak. In January, I should be on my 2nd year streak. So I'm trying to learn a new language on Duolingo, and it's free. Of course, I'm not going to pay for Duolingo Pro Max when I can get it for free. There are also YouTube videos where I'm tapping into just to learn a new language. Sometimes we feel like we have to go to school, pay exorbitant school fees and everything to learn a language. But if you don't have the time to actually go to school and pay someone to teach you, then you can try to make the time on YouTube, Duolingo, 5 minutes a day, 3 minutes a day, 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day at your own pace. You can learn. And one thing I like about Duolingo is that there's a streak to You have to have a streak every day or every other day. Sometimes there are streak freezes that would freeze your streak if you miss for a day, etc, etc. You can, whatever. But like, just make an effort to learn a new skill, learn a new language, learn how to do something, learn how to drive, learn how to crochet, learn how to sew, learn how to do your own makeup. Something I've developed a lot living abroad is learning to do my own makeup and then learning to style my hair. I think in this whole year, I can literally count the number of times I actually paid someone to do my hair for me. I found out alternate means to look good without breaking bank. So things that I would ordinarily pay people for, I try to find a way of doing it myself. There are YouTube videos which can teach you how to make up, YouTube videos that will teach you how to crochet. There's so many courses and coding you can actually find on YouTube. YouTube provides a wealth of knowledge. I know some makeup artists who are very well known today who are actually self-taught. They learned it on YouTube, Instagram, wherever. So let us fully utilize our social media. Let us fully utilize our phones, our internet, our Wi-Fi, and generate some form of income or give us a sense of well-being and satisfaction, knowing that, oh, at the end of 2025, I learned how to speak English. I learned how to speak French. I learned how to speak Hungarian. I learned how to speak Arabic. I learned how to speak what? Exactly. So let's just leverage on that and go into 2025 learning a new skill. Hopefully a year from now we'll meet again and then we can catch up on what we have done language-wise or skill-wise. So that's that. The next thing we are also going to not go into 2025 with would be being a yes man. And in my opinion, being a yes man, I would say somebody who's always saying yes to everything. I would say in 2025, we need to learn how to say no. Saying no to someone or turning down a request does not make you mean, does not make you weak. Sometimes we take too many responsibilities and too many tasks and too many yeses that actually do not favor us. It's important to put yourself first. It's important to be there for others. But when you are there for others so much so that it takes a toll on you, then you're not doing the best because it's detrimental to your health, your mental health, and general well-being. So in some situations, you should feel proud of yourself for saying no. Saying no actually shows growth. It shows that you are willing to stand up for yourself, speak up, and sometimes you can also say no without explaining or apologizing. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I know I come from a culture where we do apologize a lot. We can just Google it. You know that Ghanaians are very, very hospitable and very calm compared to our Nigerian counterparts. People will literally say, please, I'm sorry. Please, good morning. Please, thank you. I had to shed a lot of that when I came abroad because I noticed that outside you have to be you have to own your words. You have to stand up for yourself, speak up for yourself. And sometimes you even apologize to someone. Maybe somebody tripped and like, oh, sorry. And it's like, it's not your fault that I tripped, okay? Yeah, let's go. So please, you can say no without explaining. Oh, Yabbies own, can you do this? No, I can't. Can you do this? No, I can't. It's not good for me because I have to do this and this and this. Like, imagine saying yes to every single request. Oh, Yabbies own, can you help me carry a mountain? Yes. Yabbies own, can you help me do my assignment? Yes. Yabbies own, can you take this to the bin for me? Yes. Yabbies own, can you help me on this? Yes. You're going to die. You're not going to be able to do that. So it's important to say no sometimes. It's fine. It's okay. You can say no. It's fine to say no. I would rather you say no and be free and alive than to say yes and be stressed and be on the brink of... Okay, so we're going to learn how to say no in 2025. Next thing we're leaving behind in 2024 is being worried about what people think of us. We live in a world where there's so much opinions going around. You find opinions from friends, colleagues, acquaintances, flatmates, people on the streets, the internet. There's so many opinions. I think we live in a generation where there's too much knowledge. It's good. For lack of knowledge, people perish, as the good book says. But we live in a world where there's just too much information everywhere, which is good. And then sometimes it's also very bad. And you can have your own personal thoughts disrupted because you may have too much information. You cannot even know what to rely on. But one thing we're not going to do in 2025 is to be worried about what people think of us. Everybody's going to have an opinion of you no matter what you do. You can be the best person in the world. People would have an opinion and an issue with that. You can be the worst person in the world. People would have an opinion and an issue with that. So I would say at the end of the day, own yourself. When I say that, I mean be able to make decisions you can stand by regardless of what people think about you. And also know that whatever decisions you make, you alone are going to bear the consequences. So regardless of what people would say, you may have input, you may have suggestions, you may have wise counsel from family, friends. It's good to have wise counsel, but the final decision is to be made by you, because guess what? You are going to bear whatever comes out of that decision. So own it. Don't be so worried about what people say about what you wear, what you do, what you think about. Of course, you have to maintain the moral code. You have to have a sense of morality. But at the end of the day, it's important for you to know that your opinions and your thoughts are exclusive to you. And you should not let anybody make some decisions for you, because it would have repercussions that will live beyond those people in some cases, and you would have to bear those alone, and maybe even your generation. So think through decisions, be cautious of who you are talking to about your plans, your opinions, and just know that everything is going to work out eventually. The next thing we're not going to enter 2025 with is sharing all your plans with everybody. People do not need to know everything that's going on in your life. It's okay, you can touch base on some aspects of what's going on with your life with people, that's okay, but we live in a world where not everybody is happy for you. Not everybody is on the same level of growth as you. And not everybody even understands the intricacies of your life. You're meeting, especially if you live abroad, you meet people from different cultures, different backgrounds and everything. So the way they are brought up is totally different from you. I've lived with people and I've experienced people at work, at school, who are very open to share every single progress in their life, every single step before it even comes to conclusion. That may be the way they are brought up and everything, but you should also maintain some decorum. I'm generally a person who will talk about things in my life, but to a certain extent. I may not talk about things fully until it's completed and I'm confident to talk about it. But there are also people who would talk to you about it every step of the way. The moment they step out of the house, the moment they speak to this person, the moment they sign the contract, the moment, I would say, shield yourself a bit more, cover yourself a bit more. Do not expose yourself by giving people information that they do not even need to know, because they may be at different levels of their life and they may not relate to you in the same way you will expect them to. So don't overshare. Be careful of who you are sharing your stuff, your information with, your problems with. It's good. A problem shared is half solved. So know who you are sharing information with, okay? You can find mature people, you can find sound-minded people, good friends around you who you can talk to about these things. Your parents, your mom, your dad, you can talk to them, your siblings. Even that, you should also know what kind of information you should share with them or not, because we live in a world where people have their own issues and they may be at a certain stage of their life where they may even be envious of you through no fault of theirs, because it's human nature to get jealous or envious or worried and even compare. It's human nature. So just be careful about what you're sharing, the successes in your life, in your education. Maybe you've graduated school, maybe on your second or third degree, and then there's this friend who you grew up with and they are not on the same level. You would share the information that, oh, I'm graduating again. Of course, they will be happy. They will show they are happy, but maybe at the end of the day, they will just be reflecting on their lives and be like, oh, I can't believe I grew up with her. We were friends, but she's going way ahead of me. They may not have any bad intentions, but you know, the vibe may be a bit different. So please just be careful about who you're sharing information with in 2025, because I've seen people who shared information with people and then it just came back the wrong way and things ended. You know, I read a story online about this guy who was paying a very affordable rent, and he and his flatmate, they were paying rent and the rent was very affordable. So he was talking to his friend's friend, friend of a friend, So his friend's friend came to visit him and was like, oh, your flat is so nice. How much are you paying in rent? And then he mentioned it. It was like, oh, we are paying this. And then we could see that the friend's face changed all of a sudden. Next moment, he found out who the landlord was, the agency was, read some kind of agreement with the landlord. The landlord just came and gave them an eviction notice that he's increasing the rent ×2. Yes, exactly. So sometimes just cover your good news and keep it here. Okay? Yes, and let God do with you what he wants to do. Because sometimes when you talk too much, sharing, it may not happen. But just keep quiet. Watch God. And then you give your testimony after. Last but not the least, in 2025, we're going to do what? Have some me time. Have some me time. One thing I've learned to do a lot is to not wait for people to have fun. I had to concisely make a decision. It never occurred to me that I could go watch a movie alone. But now I can easily go to a cinema, book some tickets, buy myself a huge box of popcorn, some Coke or Pepsi, and I enjoy a good movie all alone. I'm able to make some me time, go for a swim, go enjoy some thermal bath, especially in the winter. Just go swim alone, relax. So make some me time. It's very easy to forget about yourself when you're in a role where you're taking care of people or trying to make sure people are okay. You can easily forget about yourself. But you should remember that at the end of the day, you need to be healthy. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You need to be full so that you can do or pour into other people. So make time for yourself, a time away from work, a time away from school, just a time where you can even just be at home, watch Netflix and chill, or just be at home, just journal, just be at home, just prepare your favorite food and eat till your heart's content. Just be at home, pray, spend time with God, speak to God, let him know that you are there, you rely on him absolutely. So spend some me time, go to a spa, travel, discover new places. Don't wait for somebody to have fun. Don't wait for somebody to do what you want to do. If you need to travel, you can do that alone. You don't need to wait 5 years for someone else to make time, or 2 months. No, carpe diem, seize the day, seize the opportunity, and don't wait for things to happen with other people before you make a move. You are enjoy life, because life is short. How old are we? How many years are we spending on this earth to delay happiness because you think you cannot do it alone, or you think you cannot go certain places alone? And this is also good because it also builds your confidence, because you know that, oh, I'm going to this place alone. You may do some research before going to the place, and when you get there, you don't be timid. Just speak. What's the worst that can happen? It's human beings you are dealing with. And that's one thing I've had to learn. I've had to grow a lot. I've had to be more confident than I did when I first landed in this city. But now I'm very confident. I'm able to go to places with or without knowing how to speak the language. I'm not worried. I'm not bothered. Oh my God. I'm just noticing. I didn't want my... Thanks for not entering 2025 with not wearing your jacket well, please. Anyway, guys, so these are just a few topics. I'm not sure how many topics I've spoken about, but I'm going to count them and I'm going to put them in the caption of this video. In the meantime, if you like this video, kindly leave a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, share my video, and I'm going to see you on the next time. I know I'm not talking so much about why I've been away for long, because I don't want to start talking about it and then I go away again, which hopefully is not the reason. But I hope you enjoy this. I wish you a happy holidays and a happy new year in advance, and we get to talk again very soon. Until then, it's been Yabbies on.